Welcome to bonus episode number 5, Construction Nation. This is Sue Dyer, your host of Construction Dream Team, where I interview industry leaders and experts so you can learn about the people side of construction and build your construction dream team based on OPE, other people's experiences. The shortest way to success is to learn from others who've already been there and done that. Why suffer? You can learn from others and shorten your learning curve. I wanted to share this masterclass because I think it is a fun one for us to all think about and learn. There are so many articles in the construction press about failed mega projects. I think it warrants some conversation and study. But before we start, I hope that you will head on over to iTunes and give Construction Dream Team a 5-star rating. If you click on your podcast icon on your phone, it should take you to iTunes, and there you can search for Construction Dream Team. When it comes up, if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see the little stars. If you click on the star farthest to the right, it will give us a 5-star rating. That really does help us get higher up in the search engine so more people can find us. So I really appreciate your help with that. And if you're enjoying Construction Dream Team, please do send it off to your team and let them also be thinking about and learning about ways to improve your team so that you can all together have your dream. This masterclass is really one that is close to my heart because we have done a lot of research over the last couple decades, and I just wanted to share this with you, what we found. So what we found is that very large mega projects tend to create their own weather. There's so much opportunity for chaos to break out that some experts believe that it's not possible to control the inevitable chaos for these very, very big projects. The chaos plays out in many ways and has played out on many notable projects in the past many years. These include the failure of the Denver International Airport project, the Hong Kong Airport project, the Boston Artery or Big Dig project, and now the San Francisco Bay Bridge project. All of these projects came in significantly over budget and behind schedule. Failures like these are such a high concern that Congress passed new requirements for managing and overseeing mega projects. Now, Congress defined a mega project as $1 billion or more. Later on, it was defined down to $250 million and above. At Orgmetrics, our team began to see patterns emerge after we facilitated about 1,000 construction projects, and this included dozens of large and mega projects. We're always looking for what made a project succeed or fail, and we also looked for mega projects and what made them succeed. There was quite a bit of studies about what made them fail, but nothing about why would one succeed. So we began to look at that. And over time, we found patterns. And so far, we have unveiled 11 success factors. These success factors evolved from our personal experiences working on projects and observations over many years and many projects. While these factors can't cover all the aspects for success, it is hoped that they do open the door to understanding some of the key aspects that are required for success and the nature of mega projects. With such understanding, we can begin to know why and how to approach mega projects differently. Even though the success factors were developed from experiences on construction projects, I really believe that there's probably very similar dynamics between all types of very large, complex projects and any type of mega project. The best way to use the mega project success factors assessment that we've created is really as a communication tool. Pass it out to your team members and have them complete it. Then compare what each one has identified as a project weakness. And we've seen these mega project success factors used to help many projects actually define how their project is going to operate as a team. Okay, let's dive in and go through the mega project success factors. Success factor number 1, there's a leader or an owner, that there is a person who's identified with the program or the project as its leader. This person has full authority to do whatever they feel is necessary for the success of the project or program. The leader surrounds themselves with a group of the best to help execute the project or program. I can't tell you how many times we see very large projects and you cannot identify who the leader is. Who owns this project? Who's the visionary? Who is the bottom line decision maker? It doesn't exist in so many projects. And the larger the project, the more of an issue this is, because there's nowhere to go to get a definitive answer or to get a quick answer, because it all is cohesive and hangs together. We've seen on so many projects, the person who is deemed the head of the project rolls in and rolls out during the duration of the project or program. So there's no continuity of vision. There's no understanding of what we're trying to achieve. And then sometimes there really isn't anything that's clear about what the team is trying to achieve. So it's really important that this person is identified and stays for the duration. And if you have to put someone else in, that there is a huge handoff. And maybe we can even go back. It's still a big risk, but you can go back and try to figure out what were the decisions that were made, what were the handoffs, why did they get made, and we don't change a lot of things that were already identified and agreed to. Success factor number 2 is have a mega project expert. There is someone on the project with several successful mega projects under their belt. They are in a leadership role. Probably we really like to see them actually have some authentic authority, and they're there from the beginning to the end of the project or the program. We see far too often the teams that work on maybe the everyday projects that aren't mega think, oh, this is great. We have this big project we can work on. Wouldn't that be great? And they feel resentful that if someone else is going to come in to take over their job, that they then work against them. But truthfully, you need someone who can wrap their mind around the strategy and what it takes to have all that many moving parts, how many pieces of paper are going to flow, how much communication has to occur. There is so many things that are different. A $40 million project and a $4 million project are very different, and a $40 million project and a $1 billion project are orders of magnitude different. You need someone who is a part of your team, integrated, part of your leadership, who can help steer and even make decisions for you and the team, and help mentor those people who may not know as much, but certainly will by the end of the project. Mega project success factor number 3, have a committed and integrated team. Now, individuals are personally committed to the project. Then that usually we talk about committed project. We want a quality project. We want it on time. We want it on budget. We want it to, quality is really defined as it does what it's intended to do, what we need it to do. The people on this team are handpicked for their leadership, experience, or expertise, and are willing to do whatever it takes to really make this project successful. No one can tell who are consultants, who are employees, whether you're a designer, contractor, subcontractor. It's one big integrated team focused on the success of the project or program. And this is essential that we really pick our A team and that they are truly committed and that we truly integrate them and that they're co-located and that we have one system of communicating and we have one system for measuring whether it's time or dollars. We have one system that supports that team and allows them to integrate. Success factor number 4, run by project managers and not politicians. When design or construction issues get politicized, practicality and common sense really are not available to the team. The project needs a motto of, let the experts use their expertise. The political issues should be dealt with by the time of the schematic design and should not be part of construction. And in fact, going back to mega project number 1, having a clear leader or owner, on some of the mega projects that we've worked on, we actually gave the role to the leader, as their job is to create a ceiling for the project team so that political issues would hit the ceiling and not drive down into the project, because these politicized issues don't allow the team to do what is needed. It will slow you down and it could kill you. There's a lot of forensic studies that show it actually could kill you. So it's very, very important that we let the people who build projects build them, and let the people who can control, manage, steer the political needs and requirements, but keep that off of the project level, keep that above it, and keep it away from the everyday. Mega project number 5, a unique structure and culture. You need new norms, new policies and procedures. Often the teams that do best are pulled out and away from the normal routines of their respective organizations. The project team members are free and empowered to set new norms and policies and procedures that they feel are needed for success for this type of project. The systems and the mental attitude that complete a $10 million project are not the same for a $1 billion one. The project program structure needs to enable the team and not stifle it in its ability to be successful. I can't tell you how many projects I've been on where I can ask the team, show me how you're structured, and you can look at the structure and see that this team doesn't have a chance of being successful. And other times, just if they worked really, really, really hard, maybe they could overcome the structure. And other times, you can see the structure is going to support their ability to actually succeed. And let me also talk just a second about culture, because I really believe that the collaborative culture will eat strategy for lunch every day. The culture will help the team communicate, identify issues, create strategies, know what they need to do, work together, and implement them. Without that, it becomes incredibly difficult for the project to move forward, and it might not ever gain the momentum it really needs. You need that cohesion in order to push off and get the momentum and get into the flow. Mega project success factor number 6, a program approach. So this is really, if you have a program of projects, which is what most of these mega projects get cut into some kind of pieces because you can't look at it as a whole. So you might have different projects, different contracts, different sections. I mean, there's lots of ways to slice and dice it, but all of these together become your program, which is your mega project. And it really is not the same as one large standalone project, and it can't succeed by using the same tools that you would use for that type of project. You really need a new approach. And this means there needs to be, again, new systems, procedures, and tools that allow you to manage a program of projects that's this size. And again, one system, not dueling systems. I see all the time the teams, wouldn't it be great if we just had one system where we had finance tied to payment and tied to the schedule, and we had it more and more. We're getting there. We're getting more and more there, but we're still not there. And a lot of projects are still very siloed. You know, everybody has their own system, and then we kind of throw paper at each other or emails, and we try to translate. And while people are pretty good at translating most of the time, it takes time, And it doesn't allow you to have a perspective of comparison. Whereas if you had everything together, you would be able to see things more evidently and not have to work as hard. And working hard means that you're not spending time on other things. Number 7 is an atmosphere of partnership. Again, I talked about culture. Everyone must work together toward the common end, a successful project. There can't be any of this CYA or us versus them. If there is, you are likely to fail on this size of project because it will just begin to undermine your ability to communicate and really identify issues, understand the issues, and resolve the issues while it's still an issue before it grows into something else. Without an atmosphere of true partnership, communication will be poor, resulting in team members and team leaders being unaware of project issues and problems until it's too late to solve them in a timely manner. This can work to sink the project when people are pointing fingers, either to take the heat off themselves or to place blame. The focus is taken off the project, and the focus is taken off on solving whatever the problem is that started this whole thing. And that is a huge risk to our projects because however much time it takes until we actually start focusing on the issue, you can never get that time back. So we really need to create an atmosphere where all working together, one integrated team focused on the success of the project, working together in a highly collaborative manner so that we can become high performing. Mega project success factor number 8 is expect chaos. NASA, when it sends a rocket to Mars, it's on target only about 5% of the time. The other 95% of the time, it's working to make corrections to come back on target. It gyros back and forth all the way through its trip. It is the team and the team leaders who assure that the project stays focused on Mars. In other words, project success. First, you must have the right people, and that you can tell them they can tell you when the project is off course. We have to have some kind of mechanisms to be able to tell us when we're off course, and that we are willing to be truthful about that. Then we must have a system that allows us to course correct to get back onto target. And without these things, your team can get way off track. But I think so many teams are in denial that they have chaos and that chaos is a natural part of a really large project, that you sort of have to be nimble and look for what do you see is happening? What are the trends? It kind of reminds me of the forest. The forest has the fire watchers that sit up high and they watch for smoke because they can't see the flames yet, but they can see smoke. And that's what we have to be looking for. Where's the smoke? Because by the time you see fire, it is too late, especially on a mega project. And what we've seen on most of the mega projects, when you look at the forensic studies, what actually sunk the project was a cascading event of small issues. It wasn't a huge, grandiose failure, but an integrated failure of this thing affected this, that affected this, that affected that allowed this whole thing to not work, and then that wouldn't interact with this. And so that's what happens. That's how mega projects fail. It isn't because of one big thing. It's because of a lot of little things. And that's why you've got to expect the chaos and keep your eyes on the forest for the smoke. Is there smoke out there? Success factor number 9 is provide accountability. Successful projects have a culture and system for holding the team members accountable for their commitments and their pieces of the project. The heart of accountability is a monthly independent feedback system. I know we use a construction scorecard, and it allows the team to see where they are every single month. It measures exactly what the pulse of the team, where do they think they are, how well do they think they're doing, and what do we need to do to improve comes out of this too. We also have in ours, we have an algorithm that also calculates a momentum score. So you can have positive momentum and negative momentum, and you can see exactly what needs to happen so that you can course correct. And you need some kind of accountability, the ability for the team to be accountable to one another, which is also what we believe structured collaborative partnering allows, but also your weekly meetings. There's many, many things that you can do to create accountability, but it's essential. And so many people don't want accountability, but if you're going to become high performing, you have to have that. It's an essential component to have that feedback. Mega project success factor number 10 is an integrated activation team. Now, this is really for facilities where we found that a major facility is really not just a turnkey operation. There's been several notable failures due to the staff's inability to operate the new systems that were incorporated into the facility. So an integrated activation effort must start early in the construction phase to achieve buy-in and acceptance of those who run and maintain a new facility. In fact, we've seen that the larger the project is and the more hands-off people are with the stakeholders, the people who are going to actually run it, the end users, the more effort it takes for this activation. If the end users are sort of a part of the entire process and they're on site and they're walking and they're looking at the systems throughout the whole duration of the project, they'll feel that ownership of the facility, the ownership of the different systems, and you'll have a much easier time at activation. When they stay away while the construction team is building it and testing it, and then they come on, you have a very hard time getting them to take ownership of that facility. And so you will have to take much, much more effort and start earlier or have an unsuccessful opening. Mega project success factor number 11. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this because these are success factors that Orgmetrics created. And then the International Partnering Institute did a mega project collaborative roundtable. And this was in September of 2011. And they hosted 6 of the publicly funded mega projects it was 2.3 million square feet for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency campus in Springfield and 25 other different attendees from different projects. There were 10 mega projects. And so what happened is that they looked at these and we first let them talk about whatever were the success factors, and we found that they actually validated all of these. This was their experience as well. But they also created an 11th mega project success factor. And this is again for facilities, and it's have an integrated passive and active IT process. So what we've seen in so many projects, it's actually the information technology that ends up sinking the project because it takes a good deal of time. Sometimes the old systems have to talk to the new systems in order for the building to actually operate, which can also be quite a challenge. And sometimes the role of the owner's IT department and the subcontractors or the subconsultants who are working on the IT systems don't really integrate, and we don't even have a process for that. So successful projects incorporate information technology systems, both passive and active, from design through construction. Late incorporation of either passive or active IT can be devastating to the project schedule, particularly when IT specialists need to be supervised while accessing secure job sites. So that is the 11th one. And definitely we need to make sure that we have IT on board. And, as projects and all of our facilities gain in smart technology, this is just becoming more and more of a requirement. and quite challenging because technology changes very quickly. So you may start your building and it's a 2-year build, but technology's already changed how many times? 2, 3, 4 times. So it's very hard to spec what you're going to do when you're even 2 years before that, when you're planning. So it takes a concerted effort to make sure you're staying on top of what is the technology component and what are we going to do and how are we going to manage this. It will take a big effort. So we've taken all of this and turned it into a mega project, a success factor assessment, and it will be on the show notes at constructiondreamteam.com. Bonus episode number 5. So you can take this with your team. And I have used this for several mega projects that had started off a little rough, and they used this and they drove their team to being very high performing and very, very successful. So we know that these success factors can work very, very well for you. They've worked for many, many teams. And if you have another success factor that you've uncovered, send it our way, and we will look at that and potentially add it to the assessment. So I hope that you've enjoyed this masterclass today, and you will talk about these things with your team, because these factors are there whether or not we ignore them or not, or whether we use them or not. So why not use them? Why not use them to improve your outcome and your momentum and maybe some of the fun you might have in building things? So I really appreciate you all joining me for this masterclass. Remember, Construction Nation, dreams don't just happen. Dream teams don't just happen. They are built one step at a time. Construction Dream Team allows you to tap into the collective wisdom of the entire construction industry. If you know of someone that you would like to hear, let me know, and I will see if I can book them into an interview for us. And if you have a topic that is like burning and you really want to know more, let us know that too, and I will do what I can to find someone who has that expertise. We are here to serve you. We have also created a Construction Dream Team LinkedIn group. I know millions of construction folks are on LinkedIn, and we wanted to find a place that we could all meet and continue the conversation together. And I think this Construction Dream Team group can really be that, for LinkedIn. And so we try to make it easy for you to join. So if you go to cdtlinkedin.com, that's Construction Dream Team, cdtlinkedin.com. You can just push the button to join, and it'll make it a lot easier. We also have a place for you to give us some information, and then we will introduce you to the group. And I'm hoping to have a lot of conversations with many of you, and also bring on our guests to answer questions and to continue the dialogue there. So I thank you so much for listening. And I know that we will have another great episode drop next Monday morning at 4 a.m. Pacific time. And so join me then when I will interview another industry leader or expert about the people side of construction. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll catch you next time.